Hey guys, it's me, Jay Houston, and welcome to Theory Crafting League Characters for Project L Episode 2. Nice name. And once again, this video is going to be more... These fighting game characters have moves similar to these League spells. So if you have any characters you'd want me to Theory Craft, let me know in the comments. The characters I'm covering today are actually from comments from the last video, which were Jarvan, Xerath, and Senna. So let's start with Jarvan. The first thing I want to talk about with Jarvan is his passive. His passive is, the first time you hit someone, it does extra damage pretty much. And the animation is that he just bonks you over the head. So to me, that's clearly just a regular overhead, maybe like a command normal, forward heavy punch or something. Alongside that, I'd say, Jarvan has this, weird spear thing. It freaking extends, has like a chain in it or something. I'd say he'd be like a mid-range character. He control the mid-range really well. His normals would have, really good range because of this. But, pretty bad recovery. So yeah, mid-range character. But Jarvan's kit revolves around his E and his Q. And how they, combo off each other like that. So let's take a look at his Q first. The first character I want to look at is Senna from Guilty Gear. Not only does he use a flag, but he's also the son of the king. The move I want to look at is Beak Driver. Nothing too special, fairly generic mid-range stinger type move that can pierce projectiles. But what would make it interesting is how it would interact with his next move. For Jarvan's E, I want to take a look at Nova from Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Here you see when Nova throws his energy javelins, it throws it in the air and it tracks his opponent, doesn't matter where they are. So to change this up, I would have him be able to throw it at 3 different angles, or maybe at 3 different angles, 3 different distances. So like close, medium, and far. To show you what I mean, here's Green Lantern, and you can spawn these lanterns, and I'll show you. Here's close, medium, and far. And wherever he would throw it, it leaves a flag there that would actually become part of the stage for a bit, like Aghanos from KI. So obviously, like Jarvan in League, if his Q touches any of his flags, he would dash in that direction and pop up the opponent for a combo opportunity. The opponent would not be launched if the dash is blocked. Also, to mimic Jarvan's W, I'd say he gets a hit of armor while he's dashing. So for Jarvan's ultimate, I see the startup being the jump that he does. Once, if it lands, it cuts to a cinematic camera, and then the terrain would rise around him. And then once he's in there, let's just say Jarvan would pretty much raging demon you. He would just beat the ever living shit out of you inside of there. And I think the animators could have a lot of fun with that. So Jarvan in a nutshell, he would try to trap you with his flags, and then he would oppress you with his really good normals. While you're, mid-screen. Doesn't matter where you are. He can trap you in a corner and just beat you down with really good normals. The next character I'm talking about is Xerath here. So Xerath, obviously, he'd be a zoner in the game. But people are like, how does Xerath work? Oh, he doesn't really melee people, he just kind of just casts magic. So the first character I want to look at is Dr. Fate from Injustice 2. Dr. Fate here, you see, he's a magic caster, so people know him as, but have you seen his normal attacks? Everything he does has like a little magic twing to it. And I feel like they could do the same thing with Xerath. And he does these moves, but there's still magic effects around them. And while we're on Dr. Fate, we could talk about Xerath's auto attacks, which are ranged. And Xerath, or Dr. Fate here, kind of does the same thing. He kind of just shoots finger guns at people. I can see this should be a simple projectile for Xerath. For Xerath's Q, I chose Poison here. Poison has this whip move that you can aim at 3 different angles. Low, medium, and anti-air. What's cool about it though is that she can hold it, cancel it, and move like Xerath can. But unlike Xerath, you can't change which angle she wants to attack while charging. So landing these is going to take some conditioning and some hard reads. For Xerath's W, I picked another zoner, Glacius here. He has this move Shatter that It has a very, big tail, so they know how to get out of the way, but it's also unblockable. So I'd actually take that same design concept and apply it to Xerath's W, because pretty big tail, and if you land it in the middle, it does more damage. But instead of doing more damage, if it lands, it's always just going to be unblockable. So that way you can just, if they're just being defensive, holding down back while you're zoning them out, you could force them to move. And for Xerath's E, I have Sub-Zero here. Slow moving projectile that stuns. I mean, what more can you want? Really easy to react to. Maybe you can change the speed of it with Xerath, but pretty much it. Really easy to react to. And if it hits, you get a combo opportunity. And to round out his kit with his ultimate, this is a weird one because his W and his ultimate are so similar. But the way you can do it is, it could just be an EX of his W, but instead of shooting one in a certain area, it could shoot on all 3 areas at the same time. Or you can do it like Chris here from Marvel 3, where his level 3 is he pulls out this rocket, right? You can aim it, and it shoots 3 Stinger missiles down. But I think this is pretty whack, so don't do that, please. Xerath in a nutshell. He's gonna zone you. A lot. So let's move on to our final character. And for today's last character, Senna. Senna is a weird one because she has the huge gun, and making that work had me a little lost. But in actuality, she actually hardly uses her gun in League. I mean, yeah, she uses it for her auto attack, her Q, and her ult, but her E doesn't use it at all. Her W, she actually sends it out with her hand, and when she takes someone's soul, she actually, reclaims it with her hand as well. So a way I could see using her gun is more for special moves rather than in her core gameplay. And even before she got the big gun, she was using one of Lucian's guns. So I can see her just beating you up with, her limbs and a little bit of magic. Also, apparently she was the better fighter than Lucian anyways, so makes sense. Okay, so for Senna's Q, I think we can just go with the standard, beam. So here's Iron Man, I almost said Mega Man. Yeah, he's a beam, light, medium, heavy. That could be her, the light one could be mimic her auto attack, and her Q could be the heavy version. Nothing too special. So let's move on to her W. For Senna's W, I have Ermac here from MKX. It's a projectile that he throws out made of souls, and when it hits them, it roots them. So unlike Senna's root, it does it immediately. I think they could just change that for a fighting game. And when they're rooted like that, you do get a combo opportunity. I'm not going to pretend like I remember how to play this game, but yeah, Senna's W. Senna's E, while making her pseudo-invisible in League, is not what makes her E good in my opinion. It's the fact that you can't auto-attack her anymore. So that's why I think making her E more of a barrier type move makes sense. So that's why I have Broly here. Broly has this ability with this barrier up, also green, that ignores projectiles. You just walk straight through, you can throw your own projectiles, and I think this can be a really good fit for Senna. And as for her ultimate, I can see it just being a variation of the proton cannon from Marvel 3, or from any of the Marvels to be honest. And then also it's a reference to one of the game's co-creators, Tom Cannon. He also goes by Proton Cannon on Twitter, I believe. Senna to me seems like a kind of a good all-rounder kind of character. She can zone if she needs to. She can beat zoning if she needs to, with her shroud. And maybe she has good normals with her sword, her giant gun. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. Once again, if you have a character you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.